Welcome to Mitchell Consulting's Group webinar series. This is part of our Mitchell University. Today we're going to talk about SAP Business One and the special pricing. This will be recorded and it'll be available on our website, so you can view it at www.mitchellgroup.com. So let's start. Again, today we're going to talk about SAP Business One and the special pricing. Before we go into the special pricing, let's talk a little bit about the actual pricing itself in SAP and how it works. So I'm going to go into inventory. I'm going to go into the price list. So today we'll touch about price lists. We'll talk about period and volume discounts and the actual special pricing for the business partner. So we're going to open up the price list, and let's see how this works. So here we can define as many price lists as we want. So in this case, we have 6 price levels, and we also have a last evaluated price and last purchase price. The last evaluated price and last purchase price are controlled by SAP. The last purchase price is based on the last AP invoice, and the last evaluated price is based on running the inventory evaluation program. So here we've got some prices. So we have a base price, which is linked to itself. So you can see here the base price list. So this is where we're starting at. Here we have a second level, a discount purchase price, which is also linked to the price list. We can do one of two things. We can have independent pricing. So we can have the price not related to any other pricing, just dependent on itself, or we can link them. So in this case, we have a base price, which is a factor of 1. We have a discount purchase price, which is half, or 0.5, the base price. We have a regular purchase price, which is 75% of the base price. We have a distributor sales price, which is 1.25 of the base price, and so on. So let's see how that works with the items. We're going to go ahead and we're going to open up an item. We're going to see here, we see our base price, we have $400. If you notice here, we have all our prices that are set up. Again, we have the last purchase price, which is grayed out. That's based on the last PO receiving. We have the last evaluated price, again, which is grayed out, which is based on the last time we ran the inventory evaluation. So here we have our base price, and then we have a discount purchase price, which is half the base price. So if we go to our discount purchase price, back to base, our discount purchase price will be half, or 200. Our distributor sales price is 1.25, which is 500, and so on. So what we're doing is we're linking this, so we're creating a system that once we go ahead and change the base price, then we can correspondingly automatically upgrade all the other pricing. So this is the pricing for the individual items. Then the link to the business partner is in the Business Partner Master. So we can see here, if we look under the payment terms, we have this business partner, Earthshaker Corporation, whose list price is the distributor sales price. So he's getting the distributor sales price. That's the link. We can also do a total discount. So we can do this is a total discount on top of what other discounts he gets, which you will see actually in an order. So let's go ahead and put 2% here. Let's click Update. Let's go in now and do a sales order to the business partner and see what happens. I'm going to go to Sales Order. Call up our Earthshaker. And you can see here that you have the unit price, which is 400. Okay, you can see a discount. This is coming from the special price, which we'll see in a moment. So this is the unit price, and down here we have a 2% additional discount. So it's going to take the discount here, bring this to 150, and then it's going to do an additional 2% discount on the price here. Again, if we look at the item itself, you can see here that we're running a special price here, and it's going off the list. That's how the system works. So now let's close this, and let's look at the actual special pricing. And then we'll go in and we'll do items with and without special pricing. So we're going to go to inventory. We're going to go to the price list. As we saw here, we have our price list. And then here we can do our period and volume discounts. This allows us to set, based on a price list, so we're going to work with the distributor sales. And you can see here we have an item. This is global. This is not really dependent on a customer. This is something we're setting up. So we have this. So we're saying that anytime this item is sold to a customer using the distributor sales price, item A002, we can click on line 1. We double-click on line 1. And we have our period discounts. This allows us to put a date range. So in this case, we started special pricing on November 7th, and valid until is blank. So this person is going to continue to get the special pricing. We can put a promotional range in here. So maybe we want to do something towards the end of the year, so we can put a valid from and until date. Once the until date has passed, the special pricing will no longer be in effect. So you can see he's getting a 10% discount. So this item is $250. We're getting our 10% discount. So this is our price after discount, which you saw on the line. The auto check here, okay, if we turn that on, auto means it's automatically dependent on the price list. So since this is linked to a price list, if I make a change to this price list, so for example, this price list, distributor sales, was also based on the price here. So if I make a change by increasing my pricing levels, this will automatically make the corresponding change. So if I brought this up from, say, $250 to $275, or I change my base price, this sales distributor price will go from $2 to $275, and this will corresponding 10% will be based on the new $275. Again, this is with the auto, and you'll see this in a few of the areas. If I go further, if I double-click on the number 1, I can do this, which is the volume discount, or what we refer to as quantity breaks. So here what we're doing is we're giving a 10% on the price here for this item. Okay, if he buys 100, let's just change this. If he buys 100, let's give him 15% versus 10. And if he buys more than 200, he's going to get 20%. So let's just update that and see how this works. We can also, when we're in here, let's update. Let's open back up again. So you can see here we're getting the 10% on this one. We can also copy these discounts. We could do it from here. Okay. We can, all items displayed in the period discount window. We can then select all these items and we can do a copy. Again, it's very important when we do these copies or any global updates, which we'll show you later in the demonstration, to back up your system. Because a lot of this stuff is global, and if you're not really paying attention, you can change pricing for, a lot of the items, and then it creates some issues. So we always recommend that what we do is do a backup of the database and run this either after hours or so on. You can also do, here you can add the items. Again, you can filter, so I may want to go in and do a range of items. So I can select my code, so I can say from a certain item to a certain item. I can also do it for all the vendors of a certain item. I can do it for an item group. We have our groups here. So we can say all the items that fall into accessories, we want to do an update. And we can also do it based on our properties. As we know from working with SAP, we have 64 properties, which are linked to the business partner, as well as 64 properties which are linked to the item. So we can do that in range, or we can just, again, enter them one at a time. That also holds true for this information here, and again here. So let's look at this one here. So we have this item, A002. We don't have it really linked to anybody except for the distributor price. Let's cancel that. Cancel. Let's go to sales and AR. Enter sales order. And you can see here. Now, we also recommend when you're dealing with special pricing, the unit price is going to be the actual unit price of the item. Some people confuse this because the price after discount's here. So you want to make sure on your form settings that you're using the price after discount. And as we know from working with SAP, if we wanted to, for example, we can turn the price off, let's say here, and we can, by holding the control key and double-clicking, we can change this name to say unit price. Again, that creates less confusion in the system. Let's turn the unit price back on so we can see. So again, this is always going to be the unit price, so we know if we look at this item and we go to distributor sales price, the unit price coming from the price list is $250, and that's what we're basing it on. So here we said that if he buys the item, he gets 10%. We can also do a quantity break. So if we go here to the quantity and we put at least 100, we're now going to get the 15%, because we said with the quantity breaks, we had 15% if he buys at least 100. If he buys 150, he's still within that range. He's going to continue to get the 15%. If he goes to 200 or more, then he goes to the 20%. Again, the customer set up for a global discount. You can see here, we put for Earthshaker an additional 2%. So whatever gets calculated is also here. So that's how that works. So let's recap that. If we go to inventory, price list, we have our price list here. If we go to volume discounts, and we can select our price list. We can see, again, this is the price of the item. And again, we can select any of the price lists here. We can also do it without a price list. We want to just do it separately. And again, within here, if we double-click on the line, we can do our period. So we can put a from-through range. Again, there's our initial 10%. We're giving anybody who buys this item that's linked to the distributor sales price will get that. Again, the auto, we just automatically adjust. So if we change the price list here from 250 to 275, then this will give you 10% of the 275. If we double click on the row, we see here that if he buys at least 100, he got the 15%. If he buys at least 200, he gets the 20%. So we can do quantity breaks as well as a period of time, and we can go ahead and add the pricing. And we can copy these discounts, again, globally through here if we want. So now let's look at special price. Under special price, we have special pricing for a business partner. So now we're going to tie items unique to a business partner. Before we had some global stuff, so anybody who bought that item for the price list he was on got the information. So here we can do special pricing for a business partner. So let's open this up. Again, let's put in our business partner. So now here we have another item. We have this one here, is A001. This one here is getting a 62% discount. We can do one of two things. We can either change the price here and let the system calculate the discount, or we can go in and we can put the discount and calculate that way. So again, it's your choice of how you want to do it. Again, this is based on the base price, so we want to do it based on that sale distributor price. Again, you can see here, so we're doing a 50% discount off the price. Again, we have auto. This means if this is checked, it's going to automatically make adjustments when we actually change the price list or make any changes. If we turn it off, it'll be set for this right here. And again, you can see that you can link it to a specific price list, or you can do it without a price list. So if you want to just create it unique and not have to worry about it being changed globally, you can set it with here. Again, we can add items here. We have our range. So in this case, we can say, well, let's give me all items from a specific code. You may want to say all items from a specific, we purchase from a specific vendor from through. Again, we can do our item groups. Let's see which one this is. This is IBM printers. We can also do our properties. You can see here the items came in. The items are highlighted in green. That means that there's special pricing or quantity breaks or something behind these items. You'll also see that on all the marketing documents. And again, we can copy the discounts. So we can do, again, we can select a code from business partner to business partner. Okay, so let's say we set up business partners for Earthshaker, and we have a new customer that we want to give the same pricing to. We can then copy the pricing over, and then we can select or delete the ones that we don't want. We can say, for example, we can delete these rows. We don't want them. So again, let's go back in. So we see that Earthshaker, if he buys this item, he's getting a discount of 62.5, so he's going to get 150. And again, if you double-click here, you also have access to volume discounts like you would on, and if you double-click here, then you would have access. You can access it through here. You linked it to this item, or you can access it directly from the period and volume discount. Okay, let's cancel. So we're going to sell this person item A0001, and it should be $150. So we're going to go into sales and AR, sales order. Call up our customer. Item. Let's do both items. Let's do, you can see the difference. You can see that these are in blue. Okay, that indicates that there's special pricing behind it. And you can see that item A1, okay, we sold one. So by default, we're getting the 62.5 discount, so it's 150. This item here, A2, we remember we set up a 10% discount unique to the item. So it's also going to pick that up because it's unique to the item. And again, this one does not have quantity break. So if you go here and we put 150, we can see here if we put the 150, we can see here that we're still getting the discount of 62.50. It's always going to be 150 because there's no discount on this one. Now, if we go here and we put 150, business partner catalogs, I just wanted the catalog. So if we go here and put the 150, you can see that again, we've got the information here. Change the item here. You can see here with the 150, we have a quantity of 1. If we put the 150, we have, again, the discounts. see how the special pricing works. So let's go back and look at that. Again, you can see here the item A, we have the special pricing behind that. We can copy special pricing from a selected criteria. So if we want to build this for one particular customer, we can then copy it. If we go here to the copy, again, we recommend that you back up your database. You do this after hours. In case there's a problem, you can do a restore. So you have some options. So you can select the BP we want to go. So we have one selection here. So let's go. We'll call up our earth shaker. And we can do a couple things. We can say, again, we can copy from a specific customer. Let's do norm. Okay. We can do a customer group maybe. So if we gave earth shaker special pricing and we want to do everybody in that group same special pricing, we can do it this way. We can also do it for a vendor group. You know, if we have certain items in a vendor group. We can also select the properties of the business partner. You can see these are the properties of the business partner. And you can also do the same thing. So we can say we want to take Earthshaker, but again, if Earthshaker had a lot of items, we may only want to take a section of items. Or again, Earthshaker may have special pricing based on item groups. So Earthshaker may be getting it on HP printers and IBM printers, but we only want to bring over the IBM printer. So we have a lot of ways to, you know, detail this and customize our copy. We also have the properties of the item. And again, we can do a replace all. So it's going to overwrite whatever norm has and replace it. We can replace only existing items. So if norm had one of the items, would only replace that and not bring any of the new items. Or we can do not replace any of the items, just add new items. We're going to do it like this. We're going to click OK. And again, it's letting you know the action was performed successfully. So let's go back to special pricing. Again, if we look at Earthshaker, you can see he has the one item. And if we look at norm, you can see now norm has it. So we copied it from Earthshaker to norm. So again, we can do that. Again, we recommend that when you do this stuff, this was a simple one, but if you're going to do this, you have a lot of special pricing, we recommend backing up the database and then running this and then verifying it's okay before you continue working. So we can do here copy. Again, to recap, we can copy special pricing from one business partner to a range of business partners, and we can select what we want to copy within there. We also have the ability of updating global pricing. Again, this allows us for changes to the system. Let's say we have a lot of special pricing, but we're doing an increase. We want to do a price increase, so we want to change maybe our discounts. We want to do it based on a change discount percentage. We can do it based on a price change. We want to maybe just update the pricing. You can also do a refresh by the price list. This is to update items without that are not set to automatic. And here we can delete. Again, be very careful when you use this program. We recommend the backup because once you do this, there's no going back. So again, you can see, in this case, we can say we want to change the percentage of items in a selected criteria. We can do, let's say we had a 10% increase. We want to do an additional 2, so we can do a 2% above that and increase it. Here, if we flag this, it's going to also do the automatic ones, as you remember from here. We had that auto flag. Auto means it's linked to the price list. We want want to do those. Maybe we have items that are not set to automatic, but we only want to update those, so we can do here. If we turn this off, we will move the effects. What this does, it'll affect the price. Or maybe we don't want to affect the price, we just want to affect the percentage itself. So we have, again, all these options, and if we have items with no price list linked, we just created our discounts and our pricing separate without using a price list, we can do that. And again, you can do the business partners, so we can say a range of business partners. So we can do all business partners we want. Maybe we just want to do Earthshaker, so we can put in Earthshaker, and we can do an update. And again, we can use our customer groups if we want. We can use our vendor groups and our properties. We can also select here a range of codes. So in this case, if Earthshaker had pricing for many items, we can change it here. Maybe we just want to make the changes to the HP printers and not the IBMs and so on. So we have a lot of flexibility. So let's click OK. Go back to Earthshaker. And you can see we went up by the additional 2%. So we were at 62.5, so now we're at 64. Let's see that again. Well, we were at 6. Let's actually go down. Let's put a -2. And bring it down also. You can see we took it down 2%. So we were at 62.5. We increased it by 2%. We went to 64.5, and we brought it back down. So you can go increase or decrease this way. You can also do this here. You can do it based on a price change the same way, and you can refresh. So again, this gives you a lot of flexibility. If you want to do, you're doing a global and price increase for the beginning of the year, and we want to go in and make that reflection for our special pricing, we can do it globally here. Again, make sure we do a backup of the database before you run this. We can also do discount groups within here. So we can do it based on a discount group. So you can see here we have items, and let's just open up an item. Again, you can see the item groups here. We have those. We also have manufacturers. We have our manufacturers here. And again, we have our properties. We have our properties here. So again, you can do a specific business partner again. So we're going to take Earthshaker. And again, we can do it this way. This is a nice way of doing it because on the special pricing, we wouldn't have to create all the items that are part of the item group. So we can say if Earthshaker buys any item that's an accessory, we can give them the discount, again, plus or minus. So if we put a 2%, we'll be getting a 2% discount. If we put a -2%, we can charge them 2% extra. So we can do it based on these groups, which are in here. We could do it based on the properties. Again, you can see the properties here. And we could do it based on the manufacturer. So again, just more flexibility of setting it up. We can define a new manufacturer. We can reset back to 0. And again, we always have the option of copying the criteria. So once we set this up, we may want to go in here and set this up for Earthshaker, give all my percentages, and then we can copy that to another one. So we can go copy it to, say, microchips if we want, or range. Again, we can do it based on that. We can do it for all, since We may be doing it based on a customer group, so we can copy everybody in the same customer group and so on. So you have a lot of flexibility in SAP Business One to copy this. If you select all, it's going to do it for everybody. Okay, so let's recap what we talked about today. We started off with the inventory price list. We talked about how the price list works. We can create an unlimited number of price lists. The prices could be independent of one another, or can they be based on each other? In this example, they're all linked because we see we have a base price, which is tied to itself, which is separate. And then we have a discount purchase price, which is half the base price. We have a regular purchase price, which is 75% of the base price, and so on. So you can do these, or you can set them to be basically upon themselves. They can be unique. Let's look at that for a minute. Let's open up the item master data. And again, we're going to call up the item. And we're going to see this item here. You can see our base price is 400. Our discount purchase price is going to be half of that, so it's 200. Our distributor sales price is 75% of that. Excuse me, 1.25% of that is 500, and so on. So we have that information tied here. The price lists are also tied to the business partners themselves. So once we define that, we can go into the business partners. Every business partner is going to be linked to a price list. In the case of Earthshaker, he's using the distributor sales price. We can also do a total discount, which will be added to the end of the order. So once the special price is calculated and all the volume discounts and quantity breaks are calculated, we can give them an additional, in this case, an additional 2% discount. So again, if we go back to inventory, we can see we have the period and volume discounts. Again, this is not unique to a business partner. This is a global. So we can say anybody who's on the distributor sales price, if they get this item, A002, they're going to get a 10% discount. They buy at least one of them. We double-click on the line number 1. We can look at the volume. So in this case, anybody who's linked to this price list buys this item is going to get 10% off. And there's no expiration date, so it's a range. We could put a from-through date. We can do it for 6 months if we want. Then it'll stop. We can also do our quantity breaks. So if they buy at least one, they get 10%. If they buy 100, they get 15%. 200 or more, they get 20%. And again, the auto indicates that it's automatically tied to this price. So we change our price list, our dependencies on the price list. This will automatically update. So let's see how that one works. So this is the item here, A002. You can see if we buy A002, we're going to get either 10, 15, or 20. So let's go to sales and AR. Let's open up a sales order. And we're going to select our customer. We know who's tied to that price. We'll put in A002. And you can see by default, he's getting 10%. Price after discount. If he buys 100, he's going to get the 15% based on the quantity break. And if he buys 200, he's going to get 20%, again, based on the quantity breaks. And you can see after the calculation, this customer has an additional 2% we have down here. That's the period and volume discounts. And then we can do special pricing, which is, again, everything under the special pricing is linked to a specific business partner. And by the way, we're showing customers this can also be done on the vendor side. Set it up for your corresponding vendor. So again, we're going to call up our customer, Earthshaker, and you can see that when Earthshaker buys this item, he's going to get 62.5%. So he's going to get 150. Again, if we can always double-click. We can see our period and volume discounts on top of this. And if we double-click, we can do discounts on here. So if you see here, because I'm linking it to this, again, we can create our volume discounts directly through here. So in this case, Earthshaker just has 62.50, regardless of how many he buys. So let's see that. Again, if we go back to sales and AR, we go to sales order, call up Earthshaker, put that item, A001, and you can see he gets his discount of 62.5. He's also getting the 2% discount down here. That's what's set up in the business partner. And then we can copy, once we define it for a specific business partner, we can then copy it from that business partner to a range of business partners. We can select all the items that that business partner has special pricing for, or we can select a range or criteria of those items. We can do it one of two ways. We can replace all items, so whatever, in this case, Earthshaker has, the other business partner or range of business partner will be overridden with that exact amount. We can replace existing items only. So if the person that we're sending it to doesn't have all the items that Earthshaker did, it will only do the ones that they have, and we can not replace the items. So in essence, we're just creating new items. Again, we have all our ranges, our customer groups, our vendor groups, and so on and so on. We can do an update here globally. So again, we can do upgrades globally. You saw it. We can do a discount percentage. We can do a positive or negative. So in this case, we did it 2%. So we went from the 62.5 to the 64.5 discount percentage for the special pricing of the shaker. We can also put a -2 and go down. We can determine what we want to affect. Again, we can set special pricing to be automatically linked to the price list, or we can have ones that are not automatically. We can also have ones that are not tied to a specific price list. And again, you have your range of business partners and items. You can do a percentage, or you can do a price change here. And then you can refresh the price list without any updates. Again, this will be used when we make changes to the price list. We just want to update everything. We're not really changing any of the discounts. We're just doing a refresh, a global refresh. As we said, if we're linked automatically, we can set it up here. And here you can delete a special pricing. So if you want to delete a special pricing for a business partner or range, you can do it here. Again, we recommend when you do the global updates that you back up your database first and run this to make sure everything's okay. If any issues arise, you can restore your database. You don't have a problem with your data. You can also do it with discount groups. Again, so you can see here, if we call it Earthshaker, again, we can do it by item groups. So if Earthshaker buys any of the HP printers, he gets a discount and so on. You can also do it by the properties and the manufacturers. And again, we saw those in the item. So if we open up our item master data, okay, we have our item groups here. You can see our item groups. We have our properties. We have our properties here. We have our manufacturer. Here. So we have those options. We can reset, clear it, and start again. And again, we have the option of doing a copy. So once we set this up for Earthshaker, we can then copy what we have for Earthshaker to other business partners. Again, we can do it by a range of partners. We can use customer groups, vendor groups, or even properties. And we can update the parent items for globally. This we can do it when we're dealing with bill of materials. So if you see here, we have a production and a bill of material. We have this item here. This printer is composed of these items. We can update the parent item pricing. This is not so much special pricing, it is the update, because again, if we make global changes to the components down here, again, we're using components for this item, and we want to update that. So we want to update just maybe the parent item. So you can see here, this parent item, LM4029 is 240. We want to do just the parent item, or we can actually have this as part of the component. So we may want to update our pricing on the individual components if we sell both components as raw materials and the finished good. We have that information here. Okay, so that concludes today's Mitchell University session on SAP Business One pricing and special pricing. We can open it up for any questions. So we have any questions? Okay. So once again, we're recording this webinar. This is part of our Mitchell Consulting's Mitchell University series. This will be available on our website. So once again, we thank you very much for your time. Any questions, please feel free to call us or visit our website at www.mitchellgroup.com. Thank you for your time.